What's
What's up?
what's the logo on your shirt? Is that a college?
Cajun Tea, that's where I went to school. That
Oh,
was
for school.
the
Oh,
last
cool.
3 years. Yeah. Yeah, I was in
Nice.
Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like frayed. Like Pepsi's like clawed the heck out of it, so it's just kind of trash now. It's like the
Yeah.
stitching is just everywhere. But anyway, I am here with Ozzy from Oz Talks Hardware, and I'm very thankful that he took time out of his Sunday night to be here. I really like the format that we did with Luc Lafreniere when I interviewed him, and something that I kind of want to try with other tech YouTubers and the like because I find that I learn interesting things about my colleagues, if you I guess we could be called colleagues, and we all have interesting stories. We all come from different walks of life, and we all start our channels for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I presume most of us have a love for tech, but there's always something a little different that sparks the channels in question. So that's the first thing I wanted to ask you. Obviously, tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, where you live, where you're from, and what made you start your YouTube channel.
Yeah, of course. So I am Ozzy. I am currently 21. It's weird that I had to pause to actually like think about my age. It's crazy.
You're only 21. I thought I was
Yeah.
young,
Dude,
dude. You are a youngin in this industry.
yeah,
All
I'm
right,
I'm
man.
pretty young. It's crazy though, because like it felt so normal, but I guess it's really not a normal thing to start you. I mean, I feel like nowadays it is, but that's a whole nother
Sure.
conversation.
Right.
Um, but yeah, 21. I started the channel when I was 16, 17, I want to say, somewhere around there. And then I started like taking it seriously probably around like 18, 18 and a half. So about a
Hmm.
year and a half into it, I kind of transitioned from just like hobby to like, oh, this is a cool side gig, right? And the reason I started was I was inspired by like Jay's Two Cents, Bitwit, which was Awesome Sauce at the time, Paul's Hardware, all of those guys, and Austin Evans. But what I really noticed at the time was there's just a lack of like cheap hardware that was covered. I'm so glad that like nowadays people, even big names, cover like budget hardware, but at the time there really wasn't like three, four, 500, $600 computer builds on YouTube. And so I built my first computer for around 350 bucks or so, and it was a pretty cool experience, just like researching and everything. But there are things that I wish that I had when I was going through that process. And so I just started making videos about cheap hardware. And one of the videos just exploded and it kind of like shifted everything from there. It was weird. I think it was definitely a good thing. I'm very happy that it happened because I don't think I would be here talking to you right now, right? But there's also like some negatives that came with it too that you don't really like foresee. So,
Sure.
yeah.
So what video was that? That's actually one of the questions I want to ask you because it seems like most of us have like that. I don't want to say one hit wonder, but like that first video that kind of like
Yeah.
breaks the glass ceiling, so to speak, and kind of gets
Yeah.
your name out there. What video was that for you?
It was the $25 gaming computer. Well, yeah, so
I can see why.
yeah, that was the first one that went like huge, huge. There's one previous before that. Okay. There's one before that though. Um it was like a $50 gaming computer from like 2001, but sorry, my little brother was there. I was just telling him to
That's all good.
go. It was a $50 gaming computer from like 2001, and then I remember specifically because it was right before spring break. And for spring break, I went to Peru for a mission trip. And so I go to Peru, it has maybe like 600 views or something. I come back and it's at like 15,000 within the span of like 7 days. And then it eventually grows to like 50 or 60,000. And I was like, oh, this is like kind of weird. And then I
Hmm.
did the $25 gaming computer. And then that one just like exploded somehow. I mean, I knew how it was a pretty like
Oh yeah,
clickbait
dude.
title and
That's
everything, but
well, yeah, it's a hook. I mean, there's like bad clickbait in this industry, and then there's like good clickbait, right? It's
yeah.
so it's either misleading or it's not. I mean, you're being forthcoming, and that more power to you. You know, those are the videos that I think are really organic because people click on it thinking, all right, let's see actually how he did this, if
Yeah.
it's really what he says it is, and then they realize that it is. You know, it's a genuine video, and that's when it gets shared. It goes viral on Reddit and
hmm
elsewhere.
hmm
So.
It's
Wow.
crazy, man. Like I feel like now whenever I try to like make a video that for the purpose of it going viral, it just doesn't do well. And then a video where like I don't expect it to do well, it just sometimes
I
it's
agree. Yeah.
like lightning in a ball. Like you just never know anymore.
My
So
problem is it's always the videos that require the least amount of effort. So I'm like,
yes,
well, crap. Now people are like, they're thinking that my production quality is
I
this. I mean,
know.
it's kind of it's a push to like want to make every video good just in case. But some videos where I'm just like, all right, this was fun, but I don't expect it really to go anywhere. Are the ones
Yeah,
that get the most views. I don't understand, man. YouTube is super strange. I guess
yeah,
it's nice to be on our toes, but sometimes it's nice to be able to predict things as well. So,
yeah. Can't get that with YouTube, honestly.
no, not at all. So that is something else I wanted to ask you, kind of segueing into how you run YouTube. I presume this is like your job, right? Like this is your
Hmm.
primary source of income at this moment. So
Hmm.
you are also a full-time college student, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you mind saying what school you go to?
Yeah, so I go to Georgia Tech right now, studying computer
Georgia
engineering.
Tech.
So,
Cool.
shocker,
Okay.
right?
So yeah, it's exactly what you're doing now, essentially, right? More is it
Yeah.
more software oriented, like that career field? Is it
Um,
at all hardware related?
it's interesting because you can choose whichever path you want. You can definitely go like all software, or you can go like fully hardware, or a mix of both. I'm currently more hardware oriented. Like I've done some programming stuff in the past, but I feel like very comfortable with like a Raspberry Pi, for instance. Less
Mhm.
comfortable in Python. So
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
so
Yeah.
definitely more on the hardware side.
Cool. Yeah, Python is. I tried teaching myself Python. That didn't go very well. I try anytime I try to teach myself C plus plus,
Oh
C
yeah,
sharp
that's
for
rough.
whatever reason. I tried to learn C sharp. That was just like terrible
Yeah.
experiences. People's brains have to be wired a certain way. I feel
Mhm,
like to really pick up on that stuff. So
mhm.
because it's not just a language. Like it's like art. Like there are
Yeah,
different ways to do the same thing, and some ways of doing it are more efficient than others, and that way it's fun, but it's just so much to take
yeah.
in.
And if
Uh,
it's like the first language I learned was C++, and that was rough because it's just like, I mean, C is even worse. C++ is a little bit more lenient, but there's just so many things that you gotta do like memory management and like garbage collection, like all this other like just annoying stuff. And you move, so like if you do that first and then you move to something like Python feels like English. It's
yeah,
like I'm just like
yeah.
writing like a sentence almost. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Like it takes a while to like flip your brain into a certain way of thinking program.
Right. And so I guess I don't really know if this question's valid because I assume you're already kind of doing what your field or what your major would require you to do, right? Work with hardware, be hands-on with hardware. But
Hmm.
do you see yourself ever going into the actual field, getting a real job, so to speak, and doing
Yeah.
YouTube on the side, or do you want to do YouTube full time? How do you think that's going to pan out?
So it's funny you ask that because that's something I've been like thinking about a lot since I finished my internship over the summer. Initially, when I finished my internship, I was very much YouTube full time once I graduate. And so I was just trying to get out of school so I can just do this full time and not have school in the way. But as time went on, and I'm just realizing a little bit more about, well, two big things. One, just how inconsistent YouTube can really be. I
Mhm.
definitely think once you reach a certain size, you can make a living off of it, right? Like what you're doing. Like you're always, not that you're always guaranteed a certain number of views, but you're basically always guaranteed like a certain number of views, a
You
certain
can
number of,
expect something like
yeah,
if it gets
yeah,
under a certain number, I'm like something's weird.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
But just with like the algorithm and everything, like I think I'm definitely at the size where I think I could make a living off of it, but I do think that I don't have all the necessary skills to really push it to where it needs to be. And so I think working in the industry is going to be good for me. And I think that's just the path that makes sense for me right now. I know it's different for everyone, but I would like to just understand like how to work with people, how to work in a team, get some leadership skills, get some leadership knowledge. And then if I'll still do YouTube on the side while I'm in work, And then if it just happens to start like blowing up, and I mean it's already kind of blown up, but you kind of get what I'm saying, then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
quit my job and then just do YouTube full time. But I just need to be
Okay.
consistent because I'm very not, and I need to get
Yeah.
better at that.
I get it too, and even when you're pushing out, like I try to commit to at least a couple videos a week, and
Hmm.
even when I'm putting out the same number of videos every week, the revenue that I earn from those videos could go up and down based on however YouTube
Hmm.
decides to, push videos. And so I think that's a good play, right? Is to have your degree kind of in your back pocket. At least that's how I do it. Is
Yeah.
if my YouTube channel ever gets deleted, I think that I'll be able to use skills that I've learned in the classroom to
Hmm.
have at least a somewhat decent paying job. I don't need to go flip burgers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's for me, it's like a fallback, but for you, it's like that's your goal is to actually use your degree in a professional atmosphere, and then kind of have YouTube as your fallback and just say like
Yeah.
it's just something you like to do. It's a
Yeah.
it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, and it's how do I how do I word this? Oh, well, I guess it's like pretty transparent. Like I don't think YouTube is the end goal for me. I don't know what the end goal is.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. But I do think YouTube is going to be some kind of stepping stone to something that I want to do in the future. That doesn't mean I'm going to end it anytime soon because I really enjoy it. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there's something else that I want to do. I don't know.
Yeah. I've always
But
thought that there was something else as well. Like, I can't see myself doing YouTube at 40. Like, can I,
yeah, right?
I mean, some people I know, like some of our friends, our colleagues in the industry are actually doing this at 40, 50, even 60. But like, I just can't see myself doing the same thing for that long. Like, I've got to move on to something else. Even if it's just
yeah,
like a side grade, it's not really an upgrade or a promotion. It's just like, kind of a migration of sorts,
yeah,
into some other adventure. I think
yeah,
it's just because we're young, we
mm,
see
yeah. I
ourselves
think that's definitely
trying
it.
to reach for, I don't know. Yeah, it's opportunities in front of us that we're trying to reach. You never know,
It's so
you know?
crazy though, because you just graduated from you did your undergrad and then you just got your MBA recently, right?
Yeah,
So
yep,
if I were to
that's true.
guess your age, it's probably mid 20s. But
Yeah,
I
right at
see you
25.
as like
Yeah.
someone who, not saying that you're old. I just feel like you're someone who's like you're I don't want to word this like weird, like you know what I'm saying? Like I see you more as a mentor, like not a father figure, but just like a figure where like I can learn so much from. And so it feels weird that like we're in the same age range because I feel
Oh,
like you
yeah,
just
well,
have you just know so much more about like everything. And so I'm just like kind of
no.
absorbing, you
I've
know?
made I've made many mistakes as a YouTuber, and I am definitely seen. I mean, I know, like I read comments, I read forums, like I know what people generally think of me. It's either really good or it's really bad.
Mhm.
Like I have this persona, and I don't always have the best temper when it comes to responding to indecent comments and the like.
Mhm.
But that's just the name of the game. People are gonna love you and hate you, and
Yeah,
and you kind of got to build a thick skin. But I'm definitely. I mean, I think that we could all learn from each other, and I think we all bring unique perspectives to the table, unique ways of approaching content. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you in the first place, is because I remember when I was around your size currently, and I knew who you were already because some of your videos were getting pushed to me, and some of the videos were similar. Like they were like I would do
hmm,
a comparison of two CPUs, and you would do a comparison between maybe like one of those CPUs and another CPU that was really close that I didn't happen to have. So it was like puzzle pieces that I was missing, you were filling, and vice versa. And I feel like that's kind of how we all play it. Like we
yeah.
all have to like we don't want to copy content, but there's only so much of it that
You
you
can
can
do.
do. It's kind of inevitable.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
why I've never like seen anybody say, "Oh, you copied my content." It's like, what can you do? Like, yeah, we did the same test you did because the same company sent me the products that they
exactly.
sent you.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of weird too, because like sometimes I would get so caught up. I would have this like creative video idea, and I'd be so excited about it that I want to tell people, but then I'd be so scared to tweet it, cause
yep.
or like tell anyone, because I have a fear someone is like gonna steal it and upload it before me. So I don't tell.
Dude, that's valid,
Like,
man.
It's a lot better now, but before I wouldn't tell anyone until like the very last minute, like the day before the upload. I'd be like, "Oh, I just got this in," and like,
Yep.
but
Yep. Dude, thoughts are cheap, man. It
yeah,
anybody can come up with something in their head. It's executing it that's tough.
yeah,
And sometimes you got to play your cards close, keep them close to you and kind of just throw them all out at one time once you've saved up and that's just the name of the game, right? It's the name of the industry. It's
hmm
we don't like to say that we're competing with each other, but in a way we are. We're sharing audiences, and it's about, hey, I want him to click my video instead of this video,
yeah,
or whatever. Like it's gonna happen. That's just it's like that really in any industry with
yeah,
competition, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask you about so the first company that sent you tech samples that you can think of. So it doesn't matter if it's I would say any noteworthy tech company like a case company, motherboard company, CPU. I would kind of be surprised if like a CPU company was the first, because that
hmm
definitely was not my. I was flooded with like PC cases
Yeah,
before I ever got AMD or Nvidia to send me anything. But
yeah.
yeah, who would you say is like the first noteworthy company to make a relationship with you?
I vividly remember who it is because I was so excited when I got my first sponsorship email. Because I'm sure I'm not gonna really explain it because I'm sure you already understand just like the feeling yeah, what the feeling
No,
is like
tell
when you
us, because
first.
I'm sure viewers want to know. Yeah, no,
So
do it.
it's just like you're making videos like out of just for fun, for a hobby, and then like once you get big enough, you'll start monetizing it. But it's never really for that in the first place. And
Yep,
then
yep.
like you get your first email from like a company, and they're like, "Hey, we want to send you like this free sample." And you already don't, at least for me, I was like 18 or whatever. Like I didn't have money really.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a company being like, "Hey, like we want you, like we chose you to review this new product that no one has seen before." And it's not even like a super like anticipated product. It was like a cheap $20 headset. And I remember reviewing it and like putting so much time and effort and making sure like it looked perfect. Probably spent about a week on that review. And it was like I was really proud of it. It obviously didn't do very well for clear reasons. And I'm not like angry or anything about that. I think it was a good experience for me, but it was Senti, I think, like Sentey. They sent me a pair of headsets or a headset, and yeah, I still have that headset. Like my mom uses it right now, so and that
Yeah.
was 4 years ago ish, somewhere around there.
Huh. Okay, so blast from the past. Let's see if you can name the first company in each category here. Can you think of the first company that sent you a PC case for review or build?
mm, I want to say Deep Cool.
Deep Cool. I think Deep Cool
I
was one of my
think it was
first
Deep
as
Cool.
well. They were trigger happy and they had to get their name out there. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that was how I got introduced to them as well. Might have been around the same time, to be honest.
Probably. I think I remember no, I can't remember the case right now, but I remember the video that I used it for.
I think mine was the Genome, I want to say.
Ooh,
There was that T virus looking
yeah, I know which
case,
one
had
you're
like the
talking about.
built-in AIO. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it was that one, or it might have been a generation before that. But yeah, I just thought they were different cases. I was like, oh, this is, yeah, you don't see this every day. Most
Yeah.
cases at that point looked like the S340 Elite.
Mhm.
Like or well, not the Elite, but the regular. The S340 was like the case.
That
Everyone was
was
like, oh,
huge.
check that out. But companies that were willing to do something different than that, I think, were the ones that interested me in the beginning. What about who was the first to send you a CPU sample? Was it AMD or Intel?
So Intel has still never sent me a sample. So
Dude, only recently did I get into that boat, so I
like I don't know
understand.
what you guys do to like get on their list, but like
Dude,
let me know 'cause
I'll send you their email and you can try. I'm just saying, I did the same thing. I asked, I forget who it was, one of the other guys. I was like, dude, it's like, can you like hook me up with an Intel rep, because I'm getting sent tons of Ryzen samples, but I'm not getting anything from
yeah.
Intel, and I need to compare. Like, I don't want to have to go and buy 15 Intel CPUs out of pocket. I just can't afford that. So yeah, I figured you were gonna say AMD. Like that
Yeah.
was. Can
Yeah.
you think of the first time what CPU it was that they sent you? Was it like the Ryzen, I guess, first gen?
It was I think it was an FX 6300. It
Oh,
was like because they had the
okay.
new, they refreshed it with like a new cooler or like the
Yeah.
8300 or
It's
something.
like the 50 series, like the
Yeah,
8350 and 6350, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the 8370, and then like they sent it to me, and I just didn't have time to like review it. So it was funny. I made the video and they sent it to me in October for like a November upload, and I didn't have time at all. So in January, I made the video, and then I was like, oh, I'll come back to it because I'm missing some benchmarks, but I still like scheduled it for like a February upload. And so like between January and February, I just didn't upload because I was so busy, and then I forgot about the scheduled video, and then like I got the notification because I got comments, and I was like, I don't remember uploading something, and then I check, and it was the scheduled upload from like a month and a half prior, and it's like the video did pretty well, so I don't
I
know.
don't think I've ever scheduled a video that far ahead ever. I would totally forget it even
Yeah, I
existed.
did. I was like, okay, I'll take this down and like edit it and finish it before, but I just never did.
Okay, so AMD it was well basically like a pile driver refresh was the first
Yeah,
CPU,
yeah.
but
I'll drive a refresh.
okay, interesting. So some more opinionated questions here. There's no real right answer, although I'm sure some fanboys on either side will tell you there's a right
Mm.
answer. Which do you see yourself recommending more? So I assume you have family and friends that know you do this for a living, and they ask
Mm.
you about, hey, what could I get for an $800 PC, $600 PC, something like that. Do you see yourself recommending NVIDIA graphics cards more or AMD graphics cards more, budget aside?
That's a good question. Mm, I would say it's I would say it's probably AMD. And I think specifically because the people who ask me know that I make budget videos. So when they come and ask, they're looking for like a computer that's under 600 bucks. And so for like that price point, the 500 series is like the best go-to. Um, it might be changing with like the 1660, which I still don't really understand like the nomenclature for that, but
The 60 and then the Super and then the
yeah, it's
TI.
just like it's a lot. But definitely AMD for that. If they're looking for a streaming PC or like a content creation PC, it usually goes more towards NVIDIA just because I know like their encoding is
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'll say like, oh, get like a 16 whatever or like an RTX card. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm probably almost exactly the same way. I might recommend NVIDIA a bit more than AMD for mid to high range builds, just
Mm.
because I know that most of them nowadays are really quiet and pretty
Yeah.
conservative on power, and that's something NVIDIA's they've it's been that way since
Hmm.
what, Pascal. So, um, well, I guess you could say in the context of Hawaii GPUs, it's been that way since Maxwell as well.
Yeah.
As the
For a long time.
390s and yeah 290s, and those were pretty toasty.
Yeah.
AMD's
Those
always
are
been a
pretty
little toasty.
bad.
Yeah, but the RX series cards were very good. They're still great on the used market.
Yeah.
They're excellent value cards
They're
if
amazing.
you recommend used cards. So yeah, I think it's very budget
Yeah.
based. I guess kind of can't get around that. Um,
How often
how
are you asked? Like, family, friends, do they ask you a lot about like
um
advice?
yeah, it's usually like I don't get out much. I'm really a recluse. Like I'm
Hmm.
really boring. People are like, "Hey, you should live stream more." I'd be like, "I don't do anything but sit in front of my computer all day and maybe TV. Like that's
Yeah.
it." Yeah, ask my wife; she knows like I am super boring. She has to like beg me to go outside and do something. Like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like, I'm suffocating in here. All right, let's go to Burger King, and then it's like across the street, and we'll come back. I'm super cheap. But yeah, no, I don't do very much. So anytime that I am around somebody and that happens to come up, they'll ask me.
Mm,
A lot of my friends are still console users, I would say.
mm.
So it's kind of difficult to get them out of that. I mean, consoles are easy. That's really the
Yeah.
selling point I think of
Yeah.
consoles. It's just plug and play,
Yeah.
So, what about you? Do you have like do people at your school know who you are and like ask you a lot of questions? Do you get that a lot?
It depends. Like, it's pretty rare that someone will just like notice me
Mhm.
just like walking down the street. It's happened a handful of times, but that's pretty rare. But like my friends know, like it comes up in conversation like occasionally, and they'll be like, "Oh, like you make videos?" And like, "What kind?" And I'm like, "I make computer videos." And then I'll show them the channel, and we go through that whole thing.
Mm.
Um, but then like, yeah, so yeah, my friends know a lot, and then they'll ask me if they're ever deciding to build a computer. They'll be like, "Hey, like, should I go for this or this or that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just I'll help them out." So it's really not bad. Like, I don't think like they're like abusing like their friendship at all for like help with like I don't know, but
Right,
they're
right.
I like them, so it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. I do have a couple friends who do that, and they kind of do it because like I think over time inevitably you just build up inventory,
Hmm.
and like if anyone comes over and they see like my stockpile of stuff in the closet, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy can afford to give me something. Let's see what I can get. Like I kind of
Yeah.
don't blame him because in the beginning it was like everything was paid for out of pocket, right? So
Mhm.
that's like I was flipping PCs to move through inventory and review other stuff, and now it's kind of the opposite. It's almost kind of like dulled the anticipation and like the
Yeah. Okay.
excitement. When a new product comes in, it's like, yeah, got to make more space for this now.
Mhm.
It's like very few things today like get me super excited anymore, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't know. It's just hard to reignite that initial passion that you have.
Mhm.
The joy in putting together a new PC, because now you have to like worry about like camera placements and writing scripts, and
Yeah.
then like you have to edit 2 or 3 hours worth of footage after this, and you're
Yeah.
just
That's
like,
rough.
do you feel that a lot? Do you feel like the have you hit that point yet where it's just kind of routine, or do you still get like
Mhm.
super anxious for builds?
I've definitely I've definitely burnt out a few times, just
Yeah.
from the combination of making computers and then also the combination of making videos. Um, I think the way I keep it exciting, I suppose, is just taking frequent breaks for one. I max myself out for like a video a week, like maximum. A video every 2 weeks is probably the best. And then I guess the way I keep just like computers exciting is I have to just think of like creative ways to showcase them. Stuff that's like either it's a more personal take on something like I've done in the past, or it's just like a super goofy video, stupid video. Like if I get too technical, I found that whenever I get too technical and I review stuff just all the time, I end up like just not enjoying the
Mhm.
process. And so
Yeah.
I have like every so often like a stupid video is fun. Like if you combine an RTX 2080 Super with like a Core 2 Duo or something, like that's like fun just to see what happens. And so
Yeah.
just throwing those in there is really good for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. I think it's probably a bit more exciting to put together like a super budget use system, because you kind of have no idea how
Yeah.
it's going to perform. You're like, all right, let's just see how this goes,
Yeah.
and kind of wing
Just
it
wait and
here.
see.
Like,
That's so
yeah,
true. And you're a one man show, right?
yeah,
Still.
nobody, yeah, you still do everything yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Is it
it's,
does that hurt? Like is that hard?
oh
How
man,
is
it sucks. Yeah, I mean that part of it really does suck. Like
Yeah.
the channels that were at like 500-600K when I was only at maybe 100, and they were starting to hire people. I was just like, why the heck are they hiring? Like they're gonna have to split revenue now. Like
Yeah.
they're eating into their bottom dollar because they don't want to do all the work themselves. And I honestly kind of thought it was just them being lazy and just saying, yeah, whatever, I'm making enough money. I'd just rather, if they can afford it, cool. But to me, I wanted to be more hands on. Now that I'm kind of at that point, I start to feel burned out in a sense. I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe in the market for an editor, at least part
Hmm.
time, or something to take some of the load off, because it just gets so repetitive. And like in this industry, one of the reasons why I fell in love with doing YouTube full time was because it was always kind of unpredictable.
Yeah.
But eventually you just get into this rhythm, and it's great at first because you're efficient, but then the efficiency just becomes stale. And I don't know. I just
Mm.
the worst part, my biggest fear is that kind of lackadaisical state, that disdain with my job on the I guess backside of it, gets kind of it exudes into my videos, into production quality.
Ah, I
I've had
see.
people sometimes say like, "Dude, you look burned out. You need to relax or like take a few days off." Like that's like my biggest fear, is that people are gonna see that maybe one week I'm just having a really bad time I don't want to work, but I am kind of forcing myself to. And
Yeah,
that's when the production value just people
like
see right through
plummets.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wait, are you like hard on yourself when you don't like meet a deadline or anything? Or is it more like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm the most hard on myself when a video underperforms.
yeah,
Like when I expect it to do well and I put a ton of work into like some of the videos I've spent the most amount of time on, maybe to date have 20 or 30,000 views.
mm-hmm,
And those are videos that I thought would have 100K plus.
mm-hmm,
And it's kind of like you have to build a thick skin to some of just the nasty comments on the internet. You kind of have to build a thick skin as well with respond to how the internet responds to your video. And if your video is just not received the way that you think it deserves to be received, suck it up. Nothing you can
yeah,
do.
just kind of move
Move
on.
on. Come up with something else. Like that's the ultimate kick in the teeth. Is this video didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I didn't get a good ROI, so now I'm gonna have to try something different. It's what keeps you innovative in the
Mm-hmm,
industry, but it's also kind of
mm-hmm.
it sucks.
Yeah, dude, I get so sad when that happens. I like put on like depressing music and just like
Yeah.
sit for a little
I
bit.
know, dude, for real, man. It's like the worst feeling.
Yeah,
Uh,
dang.
so kind of going off of that, because I'll just start feeling sad about we'll just start feeling sad about ourselves. We keep talking about that. Let's talk about something a little different. I wanted to ask you uh more opinionated things, just kind of off the cuff. If you had to choose between a video that had really good picture quality, meaning like good bit rate, good lighting, things like that, or a video that had really good audio, but you could only have one or the other, which would you choose in the context of a tech YouTuber? Which do you think is more important?
Okay, this is the very technical person in me coming out. Can you define really good? Like,
Okay, so
or like, so really good video, and then like, how bad is audio?
like webcam quality audio.
Okay. Okay.
So like no XLR, like nothing, nothing fancy. Like you're just
Yeah.
using a camera built-in mic, but it's a really good like A7 III, and you got yourself to, you got a key and a hair light,
Yeah.
and like it's good production quality in that sense, but audio is trash. Or you use like your laptop webcam, but you got a really good audio setup. Like if you had to pick,
Definitely the second.
this is like better audio,
Definitely the
right?
second. Yeah. Because like I'm just thinking of like YouTube right now, and even like beyond like tech YouTubers, there's so many channels that like to have like okay like video, but like their audio is like listenable. And like if you can't like listen, if there's something wrong with your audio, it's a pain like watching through it. Like if I'm like kind of blurry in my video and I'm editing it, I'm like, okay, like that's fine. Like I'll add some sharpening. But if my audio's bad, I feel like I have to re-record the entire thing. And
That's a good point. Yeah.
it's just a pain. So 100% the second one. I think good video is important, but like you can be fine with like a webcam kinda, maybe. I don't know.
So someone that wanted to like start a YouTube channel and asked us those questions, right? They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I have a $500 budget, or let's say it's even small. Let's say it's a $100 budget.
Hmm.
There aren't many good cameras you could buy for $100, but you could get maybe like a $20, $40 webcam, and then spend the other $60 on for $60 you can get an
Yeah.
okay audio setup, right? It'll
Yeah.
get you by. So
Yeah.
I think the audio game is also cheaper to kind of enter, right?
Yeah,
To
it
get like
definitely is.
the threshold is a lot narrower, I think, between the good and bad.
Hmm.
And then whereas like with camera gear, it's really hard to make a $200 camera look great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. It takes some magic in the editing
Yeah.
suites.
It really is. Like I still use like a $20 like lapel mic. And
Yeah, yeah,
like the audio, like it could definitely be better. Like when you hear good audio, you're like, oh, dude, like I
yeah,
gotta step up
yeah.
my game. But it's still like good enough. But for like good camera quality, you definitely need to drop like at minimum like $200
Yeah,
for like
yeah,
beyond average, I would say. And that's
yeah.
pushing it.
I agree. Yeah, and then you have to kind of venture into the used market too, because you feel like you get more bang for the buck there, and
Yeah.
you gotta trust that it's like it's a clean and undamaged sensor. And
Yeah.
are you gonna get some glass with it? What
Hmm.
about a tripod and everything else that
Yeah.
kind of ties into that? And Yeah, it's a slippery slope with camera gear. Like you could find yourself only
Dive
wanting to
into
spend
it.
500 bucks, and then like 2 3 hours later, your cart's filled with like 4 grand worth of
Yeah.
stuff. And
Oh,
I've definitely fallen into that trap before, and
happens too often.
yeah. Let's see. We already talked about the video that made your channel take off, that $25 one. Which is funny. It's like I feel like it's just kind of flowing naturally. 'Cause some of these questions I wanted to ask you, and they're just kind of coming up in conversation as we go.
That's awesome.
Um, if you okay, so more into your personal life for a bit. If
Hmm.
you had to pick one hobby that you really enjoyed doing that had nothing to do with tech or anything to do with college necessarily, what would that hobby be?
Definitely music, something music related. So I played trumpet for 8 years and then I stopped, but I still wanted to like play some kind of instrument. So I bought a ukulele. It was very impulse, but it's been like amazing. If I ever need to relax, I just like get on my ukulele and I play.
Dude,
And
ukulele, huh? You
it's
gotta
so
play
much
sometime,
fun,
man.
dude.
That
It's
sounds
so much
pretty
fun.
baller.
It's so simple too. Like it's four strings. It's easier than guitar, and like it sounds like close enough where people, hey Pepsi, it sounds close enough where like people won't really notice a difference. And
Yeah,
so, and I just love music. Like I'm always listening to music. Like when I'm
yeah.
studying, when I'm walking to class, it's like the first. It's funny too. Like whenever I'm like writing a script, sometimes I get stuck because I'm choosing a song for like the intro for like this part of the video for like that part of the video. Like I just music
I've done the
definitely.
same thing. Yeah,
Really?
it's
You do the
like
same?
it's not the right atmosphere. Like the music kind of projects the mood, right?
Yeah.
So like if it's a really peppy, like exciting part of a video, you want to have something that's like kind of amping up your heart rate, but
Hmm.
not like cheesy,
Yeah.
Like it's not like a little kids channel. It's like you want it to be professional, but
Yeah.
also stimulating in a sense. And
Yeah.
I've done this. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I've gone through like entire libraries and like not none of this stuff checks out, and I'll just
Yeah.
default back to like an older music
Yeah. Yeah.
clip I've already
I
used.
feel that. Yeah.
Uh,
No, that makes a lot of sense. And it's harder now just because like copyright issues and everything.
yeah,
Like,
yep.
but it is what it is.
I gotta hook you up with You heard of Silk Music? They're the ones that we
No.
use for. I gotta send you their email because they'll give you like a license. They'll basically whitelist your channel name, and
Ooh.
they totally didn't know I was gonna bring this up. But yeah, they'll whitelist your channel name, and then any video that they upload, they
Uh-huh.
basically have a contract with that artist and that song, and you can throw it into your channel. And all I do is give them credit at the bottom, and I
Yeah.
include a link and say courtesy of Silk Music or whatever, and yeah, so
Oh yeah,
and
that
they
would
have
be
tons of
awesome.
songs.
Thanks.
It's like house music, like most of like the songs that you put over like build logs and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Like it's really what most of the music's about, but I think it fits our genre pretty well, and people
Yeah.
seem to be receptive to it for the most
Yeah.
part. So
No,
remind me at the
that
end
would
of
be
this.
great.
I'll have
Yeah.
to
I'll definitely shoot you a
yeah.
message. I
That
appreciate
way,
that.
that way you're not just digging through the YouTube audio library
Yeah.
because that gets old fast. Like
So quick.
it gets really old. Okay, so you're on your laptop, yeah?
Hmm.
Okay, so do you have Steam on your laptop?
N- maybe I'm right next to my desktop right now.
Okay,
Like my
all
hands
right.
on my
So
mouse.
open up your Steam library
Okay.
and tell me which game has the most hours.
Oh, easy Smite.
Oh, already knows.
Smite.
I asked that to Luke, and Luke had to check. He was a little embarrassed, but you seem to be pretty proud of that
Yeah,
answer,
dude.
huh?
Like I've been playing that game for so long since the alpha, and I definitely have. It only says I have like 800 hours, but I definitely have more because I had it like outside of Steam for a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, that game is. Oh, it sucks, but I love it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's love hate relationships with games that consume so much of your
Yeah,
time,
I
right?
know, I know. Wait, I don't think I got to that part in the video interview. What was Luke's?
I don't remember. I don't remember
And
if it was. Oh, I don't. It wasn't CS. There's no way it was CS. It was something else though, similar to it. I
it
feel
was like
like.
an esport game.
I think so.
Okay,
I'll have to pull it up. I'll pull it up and throw it in the video.
okay.
Man, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he had to look. He had to look through it, and then he realized. Oh no, it was a game that let him. You had to he used to kind of leave it on overnight, and that was why he said he had the most. He had like dude thousands of hours. Like, and he's like, yeah, if you like leave the game on overnight, you can get like points or something, something like that. It's like back in the old school days. I was telling him when you play like Pokemon and you gave your Pokemon to like a trainer,
Yeah.
and then you walk around. It's based on the number of steps you take, right? So you just like put like a weight on the up arrow and push your dude against a tree, and he'll just keep walking into the tree, but
Until
the
it's
steps
ready.
count. So you wake up in the morning, he's like level 70. He doesn't listen to anything you tell him to do, but you got a level 70 Pokemon in
Oh
your
my
second gym
God.
badge, Like,
It's such cheese. I can tell you did that a lot. It sounds like
oh
a
yeah,
good time.
dude. Oh, I love that. I would just do it just to brag, man. That was all it was about. Like, check out my level 70 Pokemon. I got it overnight. I grinded hard.
Dang, man. All
I
right,
was that guy.
I want to redirect the question to you. What's your most played game?
It's probably I know combined across consoles it's GTA 5. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I played heavy on Xbox 360
Yeah.
my first year in college, and that was before I even started the channel. And like I would come home from class, I'd probably go to the gym or something because I didn't have anything else to do. I'd come back, play GTA 5 all night. Like I was big online. I would just like grief kids hard in
Yeah.
lobbies and like that was like my pastime. Like we'd like group up and like have these huge wars and yeah, so I went from 360 to Xbox One and then PS4 Pro and PC kind of in
Yeah.
between that as well.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I've let's see, I'll check Steam how many
That's
hours I have.
crazy.
Um
Wait, so what did you think of I feel like there was a time where people were very mad about a change in GTA 5. Like something happened, something with like modding was like banned or something.
well, the mods are pretty bad. So I only have 226 hours on Steam. I know it's
Okay.
way more than that on console.
Yeah.
But the problem with GTA 5, at least now online, is that for one, there are so many new add-ons that they kind of like bake into the game now
Hmm.
that some of them make them cool, make the experience cool, and some of them don't. So like there's like flying cars now and crap that like it's just to me it's distasteful. Like it ruins the
Yeah.
vibe in GTA, what GTA was meant to be, a realistic open world game. And so that kind of sucks. And of course you have the griefers, and they're so used to like all these super crazy weapons and cars that fly around. Like I can't compete with them anymore, man. I used to be
Yeah.
able to hold my own. Like I just get trashed now by kids. Like it's so bad. And I kind of stopped playing for a while because I'm like, I
Yeah.
didn't like where the game was going. And then I get back on it, and there's like even more crap that to me is just
Oh,
they're just like
just
hover
keeps
cars
adding
and
on.
stuff and like laser guns and everything. Like the mini games and stuff are cool, some of them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think just the experience has kind of gone downhill due to some of the stuff that they've added to the game.
Yeah.
And then the mods are just kind of
Just
like
kind of
they're the
wild.
hackers, whatever the modders. Yeah,
Yeah.
they run rampant and they'll do crazy stuff. And like I remember I was getting trapped. Like someone would drop a bomb randomly on me. I'd blow up randomly. I'd die. Like scared the heck out of me because I'm not expecting it. And then I'd wake up inside of a bus that's like blocked by another bus, and like it's just like a field of buses in the middle of the street, and I can't get out. So I'm stuck in there. I'm like, they took all my guns from me. I can't off myself because I just died. So like I'm just sitting here. I'm like, what am I supposed
What's going
to?
on?
Dude, that's literally GTA 5 online in a nutshell. If you're in a modded or a lobby with a modder, so
Dude, it sounds like you gotta get online and stream this game. I want to see a live gameplay from you, live
oh,
commentary. Just like
it's
say
so
what's on
bad.
your mind.
Dude, I rage so hard,
Oh,
man. I'm
dude,
like I'm a different
I can see
person,
it. I can
man.
see it.
I rage so hard. I don't want to give people like a wrong, I guess it's not really a inaccurate impression, but like I don't want people to think that's me normally. It's just when I play games with kids that cheat, that's
Yeah,
really what pisses me
I
off.
mean it's
Uh,
understandable. Like
uh,
I get that.
you're gonna get into GTA 5. Yeah, you don't play GTA 5 very much, do you?
No, I actually haven't even beaten the game. I
So you don't even
have.
know what happens, or do you know what happens,
I
or
mean, no, and like I always say I'll get around to it. Like the only GTA game I've actually like completely finished is San Andreas, and
okay, yeah.
I played that
That was a
game.
good one.
That game was so much fun. But hopefully, I'm hoping, like, I have a list of games that I want to get through this holiday season. So hopefully GTA 5 will like be crossed off. We'll
It's
see.
gonna be a grind, dude.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
dedication, right? Multiple campaigns in the same season. Oh no. Let's see. I have one more question for you,
Okay.
and I think this is a good way to close it out. So, the question that I asked Luke, I think is fair because it doesn't ask you to call out a single tech YouTuber per se.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick one of your favorite channels that has nothing to do with tech, so it could be car channel, food channel, if you're into that kind of, like Luke was into food channels. Like I totally got caught off guard by that. I was like, what? Like, not saying that's like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like Luke to me, but he's French, so maybe that's his vibe. But if you had to, like, what's your favorite genre first off, and then like your favorite tech channel or like your most frequently watched channel in said genre?
Yeah. So I really enjoy it. Kind of bounces around. It bounces from like lifestyle videos to like not like documentary, but like explanation videos. And the explanation videos can be in any genre. So I'm like a big Naruto fan. So it could be like why Naruto is like the strongest character ever. And it's like a 20-minute video essay on that. Or it could be like I recently watched one by Tiffany Ferry where it's like, am I a Gen Z or am I a millennial? So it just kind of bounces. So no specific channel in that regard, but one channel that I followed since like the very beginning was Matt Diavella, and he makes lifestyle videos. So just how to be more productive, how to be more efficient. He talks about like his journey with minimalism, all that kind of stuff. And I really like him because his videos are such high quality, but they're so simple. And it's not like the B-roll is like insane, but it's not like he's doing like any crazy tricks. Like it's all like super simple, any like stuff like beginners could do, but he just does it so well. And it's like eye candy. So definitely those two when it comes to non-tech channels. In terms of tech channels, it's kind of hard, like who I consistently watch. I would say probably Optimum Tech has been like someone that I've been watching a lot recently.
Got good production value.
Yeah, he has really good production value, and his videos are like pretty short and to the point, which I really enjoy because I'm definitely not like as concise as I can be. But besides that, like I really don't watch too many tech channels. I feel like I watch more for support. Like I'll watch videos like to support people that I really enjoy. So like everybody in the tech fam, and then I'll watch your videos as well. And then maybe like Hardware Unboxed. And like not to say that I don't support anybody else, but like those are probably my go-to just because like they've been such like great people that have helped me like through my YouTube journey. But unless it's like a highly anticipated product or it's like super interesting, like I don't watch too many tech.
I get it. I'm the same way.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to say it's like watching yourself in the mirror, but it's like I see other people kind of do what I do, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to see like basically I'm like watching myself work.
Yeah.
I'm like it's kind of like watching, I don't know, it's so weird. I agree. It's different because like you can totally relate to what they go through, right? So it's like I know what it took to get to this point, you know, on a smaller scale, I guess, and for us, but yeah, I don't know. I'm the same way. I think my total tech YouTuber watch hours are maybe in the 10% of like my total, like if you had to kind of sum it all up in like a pie chart, like I maybe watch 10% is tech, and then 70% is probably like cars or something car related, or and then a few DIY channels that I like watching just for random projects and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the same way.
You've tried like integrating like car videos in your channel, right?
Yeah, I've done a few. Yeah, and it's always kind of tricky because you don't want to like throw those so frequently into the mix because people freak out and they think that your channel's like suddenly changing, like evolving into something that it's
Hmm.
not. So you have to be very delicate with it. And I try to sprinkle them in every now and then because it's definitely a passion of mine. And I want people to understand that it is, but I also want them to know that I understand what their passions are. And
Yeah.
if I want to stay in business, I have to kind of sculpt my content around what they want,
Hmm.
right? So we work for them. They don't, it's not the other way around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't. I mean, if I could have it my way, the channel would totally be about like random scientific facts that have really nothing to do specifically with PCs. That's kind of how the channel started,
Yeah.
but that's not what people sub for, So you kind of have to, and I'm fine with that. I still love working with PCs and tech, but I do wish that I could branch out a bit more than I
Hmm.
have because I think there's a lot more that we could bring as personalities to our channels.
Yeah.
That YouTube's just unforgiving. It's one video that's not like the others, and it's just go, you know,
Never recommended
it's
for the next three
yeah,
weeks. Like,
it's tanked. Yeah, like in the first hour, you're like, all right, I'm not
yeah.
doing this again for a while. And just back to the whole like feeling depressed after that. It's just like, oh, creativity is out the window for that
I
one.
know, I
Uh,
know. Dude, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah, finding, because cars are probably your creative outlet, right? Like just figuring out how to share that with other people
yeah,
is probably the biggest hurdle, I guess.
trying to be like informative. Like I try to teach people things or talk about the more technical aspects of what I'm doing. Most of the stuff I'm like tinkering with the car or talking about how something
Hmm.
works. Obviously it'd be really nice to have like a full-time animator to like show in a 3D environment how or what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But that's why I bought the GoPro. I got the Hero 7 Black with the head strap. That's just right here
Yeah.
actually. And so this is actually really good. It looks really stupid when I'm wearing it to other people, but it's great for like DIY videos outside of the office because I don't
Hmm.
have to hold a camera. It's like just fixed to me. They see what I see. So if I'm working on a car that requires two hands, I have a tool in one hand and I'm like torquing something down. They see exactly what I see,
Yeah.
and I can kind of like point to stuff as I'm going. And actually, the built-in mic is really good. I don't even run an external microphone from this thing. I just talk with
That's
it here,
solid.
and it's nobody complained that I saw in the POV PC build video.
Uh-huh.
So it may be an option for you if you want to do something that's just kind of experiment here and there. That's really why I bought it, just to see how people would
Yeah.
receive it and maybe open up the creative doors a little more.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, do you find yourself like is there anything that you wish you could do more of on the channel that you just know like your audience isn't yet ready for or receptive to?
That's a good question. Mm.
Like maybe music related or something like that?
Oh, I wish I was like good enough in music to
Oh.
share with other people. Um, I would say that I'm gonna maybe take a different direction with the question. Well, I'll answer directly first, and then I'll do a different direction. But definitely wish I could do more like lifestyle videos. I've tried like incorporating lifestyle once, and like the video actually did pretty well. It was like don't use like why I use a $60 video card now, and I also had like why I don't use like why I use a $30 case with like a $1,200 computer. And both of those are just like a very like personal video. I just kind of talk about like my personal decisions and stuff. And the engagement it was like the best I've seen in a while. And the views were like pretty good. But I know that it's just so different. And then I know some people are just like very adamant about just sticking like very closely to tech, like the technical tech.
Right.
And so like I'm kind of at a crossroads. It's like, oh, I like doing this. The scripting is long, but like it's usually worth it in the end. But I know that some people are like opposed, so I'm thinking of just like sprinkling it in like here and there. But to answer your question differently, I wish I just live streamed more,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Like doing stuff live is just so uncomfortable for me.
It's totally different. Like we have the
Yeah,
benefit of editing. Like people don't see our mistakes, right? Because
yeah,
we have the ability to hide those mistakes in
hmm,
post and editing. But yeah, no, it's a
yeah,
different animal.
yeah,
Yeah.
and especially by your like I don't think I'm a super entertaining person like by myself. Like, if I had a friend there with me or something, I could bounce
Yeah, that's what it
stuff
takes.
off.
I found
But
that's the same for me. Like
yeah,
get someone like I don't know if you know McLovin, but like get someone like
yeah,
him who's like
McLovin.
way more lively than I am,
Yeah,
and kind of feed off of his energy, you
exactly.
know? Because if you're kind of like a lower energy person, or like you're just, you're mellow when you talk and just kind of straight to the point, it's difficult to kind of be hyperbolic,
Yeah.
which is often what's required to stand out from like a
Hmm.
Twitch crowd or whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think like getting a friend who's eccentric like that would be
That's
maybe
the
it might make
goal.
you more comfortable, like maybe
Yeah,
it'll make you
honestly.
kind of try things out of the box a bit more and articulate a bit more too. That's something that I've definitely become more accustomed to the more I've done
Hmm.
it for sure.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
could see it, man. I could see Oz talks Twitch. I
Oz
could see
talks
it.
Twitch. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
All right, I want some royalties on that name. Hey, by the way, nobody knows that I paid for your dinner in Vancouver
Oh,
so that you could drink. You chugged,
yes.
what was it? It was a glass of
It
like
was like this really expensive chocolate.
rich chocolate. Yeah, what was it? We bought like a dessert. It was like donut holes or something.
Oh, that was so
Something weird in
good.
Canada. Canada is weird.
That was so
And like
good.
we yeah. Yeah, do you want to tell them that experience,
Yeah.
like how tough that was to do? Because I know it was tough. Your face said it all.
So it was the last night in Vancouver because LTX had just ended. And so it was me, Greg, of course, Danny from Nerd on a Budget, and Chris from Coalition Gaming. And we were like, you know what? It's our last night. Let's just go to like a fancy restaurant and order just like expensive steaks.
Good steaks. Yeah.
Like really good steaks. So we went in
Yeah.
and I like these steaks were expensive. Like
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
even gonna
Were they
lie.
like $40 or $50, weren't they?
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
the
for like the lower
yeah,
ones, but it was
once in a year
just
purchases for me.
fine. Like I felt so not broke. Like I was living life, dude. It was wonderful. And like everybody like in the restaurant was dressed up so nicely. And
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was wearing, but I'm pretty sure it was like the equivalent of like sweats. But I didn't care. Like I was there for my steak. So we get
We were in LTX attire, right?
yeah,
Like we
yeah.
had just spent all day in a convention
We're
hall,
like
so
sweaty and gross.
yeah.
So like we order our steaks and then we order like donuts, like these little donut holes. And then they came with like this chocolate like dipping sauce, but it was like extremely rich, pretty potent. And
Yeah.
then I don't remember who offered or if it was like odds or something, but I just remember like maybe it was you that said, "Will you drink this? Like just chug it."
Just put you on the spot
Like, will
randomly.
you
I'm like, you will do it.
I was like, you're just like, "Will you chug it?" And I was like, if you pay for my dinner, I'll chug it. I didn't expect a yes, but I got a yes. And my mind just like, dude, do this. So I got
I
it.
honestly thought I thought you were gonna back out.
I was,
I didn't expect you to, or I wouldn't have said it. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, how expensive was this dinner? Because I really didn't think
yeah,
it through. I was like, this guy's serious.
and so I didn't even think about it. I threw it back, but it was hard. Like
Dude, that
it was
was
very strong, like chocolate.
it was thick. Like it like rolled off that cup. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty
And
viscous. Yeah, it was
and it was a lot too. It was like, so this is like my glass. I would probably say it was like this much.
yeah, close to a cup, I would
Yeah.
say, of like just straight chocolate glaze or whatever it was.
But I got a free steak that night. So
Yeah. You left out an important part of that story though.
wait.
Yeah, you know what you did.
Wait.
You didn't tell him what happened right after you drank it.
Did I throw up? I don't
You
that-
ran to the bathroom.
Oh, I did.
You straight got like you
Yeah, I was-
drank it and you kind of sat there for a second. You like hibernated. You're like, okay, how is this gonna affect me? And you could tell it just hit you, and all you said was, "I gotta go to the bathroom," and I knew.
It did kind of.
I knew. Yeah, yeah. I was kind of surprised at first. I was like, this dude's handling this well. He's got a strong stomach, especially after being as full as we were, as thick steaks we were eating.
Yeah.
And dude, you owned it, man. Like you held it down as far as you could, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
Dude, needless to say, we figured out each other's limits pretty well that night. So
That was a good dinner, man.
Yeah, that was fun. LTX was just a good time. I
Yeah,
really
you,
can't believe
Danny, and
it.
Chris. Yeah, I think y'all are the best company you could have had there. Just like being casual, and like a
Yeah,
non-professional environment, just talking about whatever,
yeah,
Like I could totally see us hanging out in college or whatever, just doing stupid stuff, playing games and whatever.
yeah,
So,
100%, 100%.
but that was why I wanted to interview you, man, because I knew we got along so well. That was the first time we met in Vancouver. It's really the only
Hmm.
time we were actually like in person together, and you were a cool dude. You're a real guy, and
You too. Thanks.
um, I wanted people to get a chance to know you if they haven't already. I expect that most people already know the Oz Talks Hardware YouTube channel, but if they haven't checked you out, they totally should. You guys can click the link below. It's gonna be the top link. There's not gonna be an ad in this video, so check out Oz Talks Hardware, and yeah, let him know what you think about his videos. How is your YouTube channel set up? Do like the actual splash page? Do you have like your most popular videos up top, and then kind of like
Let me
daisy chains down from
check.
there?
I
That's
don't
what I do. It's
know.
like that's like my hook, man. Like my most popular videos. I'm like, yeah, you're probably interested in this
And
one.
this one, I probably should do. Oh, I do. I do.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No, great minds think alike, man.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday night again to be interviewed here. We've been talking for literally an hour straight, and I'm pretty
I'm
sure I'm just gonna upload
honored.
the whole thing unedited. I didn't know if that would be something we could do, but
Hey,
I think it
don't
flowed really well. So,
if don't ruin your engagement on my behalf. You don't have to do the whole hour. If
dude,
this
I'm
if
not
this
worried.
is 30 seconds, like
Oh,
I'll
see, here's what you do. You just sprinkle ads every 5 minutes. So I'm just
to make up.
Dude, have you ever clicked on an hour-long video and there's like 18 yellow dots on the timeline and you're just like, no, and you just
You
click
click
away.
back.
There's no way.
You like report the channel like this video
Yeah.
is abusive.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of like the Luke's interview was kind of the same way. I expected that one to do a bit better in the beginning than it did, just because Luke has like his authority behind his name.
Mhm.
But he uh, he was really cool, and that video actually is doing pretty well. It's been like a steady
Like a
incline,
slow crank,
like
yeah.
people are seeing it over time. I think it's just because of the name and stuff. So I'm gonna do the same for yours. I'm just gonna pump the channel name and the tags and stuff, and hopefully people will find it and check you out. But anyway, thanks again. And anything else you want to say to the audience before we get out of here? Put you on the spot. Yeah, I knew it. I wanted you to feel awkward
I
before we
can't. Yeah,
close to that. There we go.
you
Look at that
succeeded. I'm
face.
awkward right now. uh, yeah, Greg's cool. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Oh shucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe I should do like the really hyperactive like vlogger YouTuber outro.
Dude, there's no way.
A challenge. I would
I
pay
feel
to
s-
see you do that.
I like just start peeking in the microphone. Be like, all right, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys haven't clicked that subscribe button,
notification.
click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on bell notifications and personalize them so YouTube doesn't screw us over in the long run. That's gonna get me demonetized. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Wonderful.
All right, man. Thanks for taking time again, and we will catch you all in our respective channels.
See ya.